I don't know. You're going to tell me though, aren't you?
No, I don't know why that is. I was really asking you the question. Not a rhetorical question. I just don't know.
It's in their nature, I suppose.
Okay, well, back to Harper honoring the War of 1812. Now, if you were running the show at the Canadian Parliament, right, and you looked out on the front lawn and you saw a statue of a Liberal Prime Minister,
yeah,
would you build an 1812 monument to dwarf that little statue, put it right beside it, to make the Liberal Prime Minister look insignificant beside the glory of the 1812 war?
That sounds kind of foolish to me.
Yeah, as part of the Conservative government's $32 million spending spree to commemorate the War of 1812, they will be building a monument literally just meters away from the statue of the former Liberal Prime Minister Wilfrid Laurier. Okay, and according to the sketches that have been shown, yeah, it's way bigger, man. Wilfrid Laurier will be, like I said, insignificant beside the glory of the 1812 commemorative monument.
Lovely.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, eh? It's like, we've had enough of the War of 1812 now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
if
I want to get interested in the War of 1812, I'll pick up a history book. You know, I'm not going to listen to what a politician has to say.
Or what you could also do, Mike, is you could swing over to the National Research Council of Canada's website. Okay.
Yeah.
Because as one of their priorities, they have listed the War of 1812 as one of their research priorities.
Right.
Which doesn't seem too bizarre until you go to the part of the website that says what the National Research Council of Canada is for. Let me read from their website. The National Research Council is the Government of Canada's premier organization for research and development. NRC partners with Canadian industry to take research impacts from the lab to the marketplace where people can experience the benefits. This market-driven focus delivers innovation faster, enhances people's lives, and addresses some of the world's most pressing problems. We are responsive, creative, and uniquely placed to partner with Canadian industry to invest in strategic research and development programming that will address critical issues for our future.
So they're future-oriented too.
Well, what about that description of the National Research Council's mandate? It involves dredging up our military history for the greater glorification of it.
Yeah, politicizing it just doesn't make any sense to me, and it's absolutely shameful.
Yeah, it should be noted that the board of directors of the National Research Council is directly appointed by the Government of Canada, and they serve a 3-year term.
So the fellow who's in there now, or the person in there now, were they appointed by the Conservatives, or do we know that right now?
Correct. They have to have been, because that's why I mentioned
it would be within 3 years. You're right. Yeah.
So there you go. That's what. Yeah. Isn't it bizarre?
The Conservatives using the bureaucracy to their advantage once again.
I know they hate science, but I thought they liked business. This is where this is the kind of science that business finds useful. Why use any of the resources of the National Research Council to advance the cause of the glorification of our past military exploits in order to grease the skids for our future military exploits?
I know.
I don't get it. It's bizarre.
And I mean, we gotta find out what the price tag of all this stuff comes out to. A statue, the money that's being used here by the National Research Council, as you pointed out. I mean, I bet you, again, this is another sign of a government that's supposed to be fiscally responsible, being irresponsible and using things for political purposes.
I'll tell you what, Mike, this is why I don't wear a poppy. Do you know why? Because any glorification of the poor souls that fight and die in the rich man's wars only makes it possible for people to be duped into fighting more wars, because they think they'll be glorified just like the soldiers of old who fought and died for our freedom. You know?
What I usually do come Remembrance Day is I do wear a poppy, but I write never again on it. And that was supposed to be the original saying that went along with the poppy.
Yeah.
Not least we forget. It's supposed to be never again.
It's about glorifying the men and women that died for us. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't get it. I don't get into it because I just find it's conducive to future wars. That's just my interpretation of all that. And
I know how you feel,
picture,
man, because I accidentally wore a red shirt on Friday last week, and man, did I ever feel like a fucking jackass after that. I do not support Red Shirt Fridays, and I just threw on a red shirt and went out there, and I got home, and Holly looked at me with shock and horror, and she's like, "You're wearing a red shirt!"
Oh my god.
Yeah. She's like, "It's Friday!" And I was like, "Ah!" And I took my red shirt off really quick.
Oh man, you were supporting the troops. Good for you, Mike.
It was an accident.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
I just really support peace, non-violence. It's possible.
Peace, diplomacy, dialogue. Like you say, reasonable. That's the way that reasonable people act. This whole push towards war and the beating of the drums of war, every time it comes up, and it's come up too often recently as well. I mean, it ever since I remember when Gulf War I started, and that pretty much shook me out of. I had been anti-militaristic at that point too, and anti-war, but that was definitely the war that opened my eyes and made me realize that nothing good comes from the methods of warfare and the reasons for warfare that have come now with all these wars in the Middle East. And we got to keep reminding people that that's what happens when wars happen. Is like you said, people die and other people get really rich. So I think you were really wise in saying that.
Yeah. Just on that subject, I put up a picture on my Facebook today of a flag that said there's 16 million people 16 million children in Iran that don't want to die.
Mm-hmm.
I know you liked it. Two other people liked it. Danny Lash liked it. Nancy from the show liked it. But how come no one else did? I thought maybe I should get like 1,000 out of my 1,200 friends. I should have got at least 1,000 likes on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm always a little disappointed.
I put up the thing that I got the most likes on in my entire Facebook history was like a picture of a kid wiping out on a friggin' big wheel from the 70s. Remember those things? Going over a jump and bailing on this big wheel, and then it got thousands of likes. You know what I mean?
People like the shit out of that.
But you put up something about, hey, maybe children shouldn't be killed in wars, and no one likes that really that much.
Which is really strange because, I mean, any other time, whenever it's about the children, aren't people like all over that? Like people would support the passing of the most insane laws that are useless to begin with, but totally in the benefit of the government just to take away their rights.
Facebook
all
is
you have to say is the kids.
Yeah, Facebook is 90% babies. You know, like you get to a certain time and most of your friends are throwing up nothing but baby photos, you know. I always delete them from my newsfeed, by the way. Throw one baby photo is like that's.
Don't pollute my newsfeed.
Delete. I'd rather have game requests or something like that.
Oh God, yeah, you got to block those too.
Yeah, baby photos and game requests, keep them away from me. But you know what? All I ask of my Facebook friends, once in a while, if I put up a message of peace, please like it. Just make me feel
like
good.
it.
But make me feel less isolated in my wish for peace, please.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel your pain.
Yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate that, Mike.
So it's not our fault. We talk about war a lot right now because the drums of war are being pounded on, and it's good that we talk about these things. And but I guess we should also look at a couple other issues here that have come up in the.
I think so too. I think we still have the Quebec flag. We still have some corruption, potential conservative corruption.
What? Conservatives and corruption? Are you sure?
Yeah, man. It's been like a few days since the last time we heard of a new case of that. You know, so it's overdue. Do you want to go to a track first and then come back?
Sounds good.
I'm going to pull this one from deep in the archives. This is a song called Heaven by King Missile off their Happy Hour CD. Here we go.
It's so beautiful here. The swallows are swinging and swaying, sweetly tweeting in the fruit trees. Sparrows hip-hop into my hands, and somehow I hold them and gently pet their wings. Why is this happening here now? I was in tears yesterday. Tattered and near lifeless, have I died and passed into the afterworld? I must have, this is heaven. How did I get here? Let me retrace my steps. What happened yesterday? I was in tears, near lifeless. Something sad must have happened. But what? What was I crying about? Is it over? Is it okay now? Who am I talking to? What's going on? Oh no! Now the sparrow is broken and mangled in my bloody hands. This is so awful. Giant flying insects are crawling all over me, biting and laughing. This is even worse than being alive. This is worse than being alive. Even worse than being alive. I hate this.
And like I said, Mike, we got some conservative corruption on our hands again.
Surprise, surprise.
I shouldn't say it's conservative corruption. It's the conservative appearance of corruption, which is being investigated by Mary Dawson, the ethics watchdog. Apparently, the Prime Minister's own Chief of Staff, Nigel Wright, is being investigated for perhaps using his office to benefit his friends at Barrick Gold.
Yeah, kind of ironic when the Conservatives are out there talking about restructuring the lobbyist laws that they got a little problem in their lap already.
Aha, this is the other shoe that's dropping right now.
Yeah.
Right? They're snatching up all the big headlines by storming into Parliament and reinforcing
demanding transparency.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the
back page of the newspaper.
Yeah, exactly. How do these guys get away with this? I mean,
they're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. They strike fear in the hearts of the mainstream media, by cutting the CBC's budget, etc. That's the only form of media we have in this country that has any kind of independence from corporate power,
Right, the rest of them don't.
Other than, like our good friends at rabble.ca, etc. You know what I mean? But we'd hardly call them mainstream media.
No, absolutely. They'd be alternative media.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to report on.
Yeah, they're alternative media made possible by organized labor.